Welcome to the session FDOT Civil 3D Plan Production, creating plan and plan profile drawings using the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit. This session will cover what is necessary for creating FDOT Civil 3D Plan and plan profile sheets with a pipe network. The workflow is different for each. As far as the software prerequisites are concerned for this session, you must have the current or latest version of FDOT Civil 3D State Kit installed. This will ensure that you're using the latest standards developed specifically for FDOT roadway modeling. As far as user prerequisites, you should have a good understanding of AutoCAD and a basic understanding of Autodesk Civil 3D. Our session objectives are as follows. We're going to go over the requirements to create FDOT plan.dwgs and review what objects are required in your drawings before you can use the plan and production tools. We're also going to look at the requirements to create FDOT plan profile drawings and review what objects are required in your drawings before you can create those. The workflow for both are very similar with a few tweaks along the way to get the desired results. We'll also look at annotation options for labeling pipe network items, and then finally importing the sheets into Sheet Set Manager for title block annotation and organization. So the requirements to create FDOT plan drawings. First, let's talk about the FDOT sheet file types. 3 file types are required. A clip borders file or a clip CLIP-RD. This file houses the alignment and also contains the view frames. The FDOT plan sheets is the sheet that you create when you bring in all your elements together that you want to show in a plan view, such as your topo file, your design file, your surface, your alignments, your pipes, things like that. And then last you have an FDOT sheet template file that is already pre-configured that contains a title block and a plan specific view frame. As far as Civil 3D object types that are required in your drawing, you must have plan only view frames, you have to have at least one alignment, and then if required your pipe network data, which is referenced in your plan RD file, and if required, surfaces such as your existing grade, finished grade, datum need to be data referenced in your plan RD as well. XREF files desired to display in plan view such as topo, design file, or right-of-way, and then last your sheet set file or DST file for title block annotation population. So with that said, let's go ahead and launch our state kit. I'm currently working in FDOT Civil 3D 2017. When you launch the state kit or you launch Civil 3D, on the left hand side you'll see that we have our data shortcuts. First, set your data shortcuts to the correct path that you're going to be working in. Once you set the path, you can see that we have 3 surfaces in here, we've got a few alignments we're going to be using, and we have a pipe network. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create a clip file that contains our view frames. So go to the FDOT ribbon, and on the far left hand side we're going to choose Create File. In the Create File dialog box that comes up, the project path here should match up to the same data shortcut path, because as we create drawings, we're going to be sharing information between the two. For roadway, we're going to choose discipline. For discipline, we're going to choose roadway, and file group, we're going to choose roadway design files. Select clip borders. Once you do that, you can see the output file is going to be called clip-rd01, and it's going to place it in the roadway folder using the FDOT master template. Next, say Create Open File. After the file opens, choose Close. Let's go ahead and make references to some of our data shortcuts. First of all, we want to do is right-click on Data Shortcuts and we want to associate the project to the current drawing. Make sure the working folder is correct, and in the pull-down menu you have the correct project selected, then click OK. What this does, this assures that every time you go to open up this clip-rd file, this path, if not set, will resolve itself and point to the correct project location that this drawing is associated to. Next, let's go to Alignments. We're going to go to Center Line Alignments. We're going to make a reference to our baseline alignment. For our site, we're going to choose None. We can leave the name the same. It already has a description. For our alignment style, or the look of our alignment, we're going to choose FDOT Proposed. And our label set, we're going to choose Truncated Scale of 1 inch equals 40. This 1 inch equals 40 scale is the same scale that matches our annotation scale. And click OK. Once you click OK, double click on the wheel of your mouse to perform a zoom extents if you don't see anything in your drawing. Next, we're going to go to the Home ribbon and we're going to create a few references for our drawings, otherwise known as XREFs. So for our layer, we're going to choose the Layer pull-down menu. I'm going to press X on my keyboard to filter down to the layers that begin with X and choose XREF 01. On the Home ribbon, under Palettes, I'm going to choose External Reference Manager. This allows me to attach multiple drawings to this file for referencing. On the top left-hand corner, I'm going to choose the pull-down menu and choose Attach DWG. I'm going to go up a folder, and we want to go to our roadway folder and choose DSGN RD01, or that's our design drawing, and click Open. In the Attach External Reference dialog box, make sure that everything is unchecked and click OK. You can see now we have one file attached to our drawing. Let's go ahead and attach another one. Again, I'm going to go to my Layers Manager. I'm going to choose a different XREF layer. Click on my down arrow, choose Attach Drawing. Go up a folder. This time I'm going to go to my Survey folder. And I'm going to attach my topo file and click Open. Again, these drawings are not required to create Planet Profile. We're only using this as a visual reference so we know where to place our view frames. For our Attach External Reference, make sure that everything is unchecked and click OK. Alright, so to create our view frames, I'm going to close out of my External Reference Manager. Up on the top of my ribbons, I'm going to locate the Output ribbon. Under the Plan Production panel, I'm going to choose Create View Frame. In the Create View Frames, we get a wizard that comes up that asks us a series of 5 questions. The first question is, what alignment do we want our view frames to travel along? Since we only have one alignment in this drawing, one is selected for us. The station and range, I don't want it to go automatic from beginning to end, but otherwise I want to actually specify a station to start at and a station to end. So here I'm going to do 85 plus 00 to 107 plus 00 and click Next. For the sheet types we want to create, I'm going to choose Plan Only. For templates, make sure that you're browsed down to the FDOT 2017 or whatever current version of StateKit you have, Templates, Data, Sheets, Roadway, and here we're going to choose the Sheet Plan Drawing. When you choose your drawing, you have the option to choose a scale. Now, these scales represent the scales that the viewports are set at in each one of these templates. Here we're going to do a 40 scale. I'm going to choose OK. The next step we have is a view frame placement. How do we want our view frames to rotate? We can have them rotate in alignment or have them all rotate north. I'm going to choose Rotate Along Alignment, and here I'm going to set up a spacing to occur before the start of the view frame and the alignment. So here I'm just going to do 10 feet and click Next. When it goes to create all of our view frames, it's going to create them as a group, and here you give the group a name. So let's give this group a name that we can identify with. Here I'm going to call this Plan as the sheet type, and then for the sheet scale, I'll type in 40, and I'm going to get rid of the counter at the end and let Civil 3D automatically name the view frame group of the alignment that the view frame is associated to. Here the description is optional. But I'm going to go ahead and type something in so we can see how we may use a description in the future. For a view frame, our layers are automatically set, our name is automatically set, our style, we have FDOT view frame, and our label style, we have FDOT view frame, and then you can choose whether you want to plot or not to plot the labels. And the location is going to go up at the top left of each view frame. Go ahead and click Next, and this is where we assign our match lines. Match lines is selected by default. For positioning, you can have the match line snap down to the nearest 1 feet, and then you can allow additional spacing between each match line or how they overlap. So here I'm going to go do 10 feet. Then we have a match line layer that it goes on, the match line name, the match line style, FDOT match line, and then as far as labeling the match lines, we have a label that goes on the left side of the match line, a label that goes on the right, and the label itself is located at the alignment intersection. So the last step is to create view frames. Once you create view frames, you'll see them show up on the screen. The red rectangles represent the view frames. The blue represent the match line, and then we have our labeling on the left-hand side, the right-hand side, located at the intersection of the alignment. We also come over here to our tool space on our Prospector tab. We can expand view frame groups now and see that we have a view frame group that has been created. If I bring my cursor over it and hover over it without clicking, you can see the description shows up plan view sheets only. The next step I want to do is to take this view frames that reside in this source file, and I want to share them into my data shortcuts so that a consumer file or a consumer drawing can use these same view frames. So to do that, I'm going to select Data Shortcuts, right click, choose Data Shortcuts. Civil 3D scans your drawing to see what type of Civil 3D objects are in your file that are available for sharing, and here it knows that we have just a view frame group. So I'm going to select it, click OK. You'll see a plus symbol show up next to the view frame groups category. I can expand it, and there's my plan type 40 scale view frame. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save this file one more time, and let's create another drawing. This is our plan drawing. Our plan drawing is what we're going to use to set up our surface in, our labels, our pipe network, things like that. Anything that we want to show in our plan view, it's going to go in this file. So again, we're going to choose Create File. Discipline roadway, file group is roadway design file. I'm going to scroll down the list here, and I'm going to find my plan sheet. It's going to create a plan RD01 file. It's going to place it in my roadway folder. It's based off the FDOT master template, and we're going to go ahead and assign a coordinate system to this file in case we want to do any labeling with coordinates. I'm going to choose Create Open File. Once that file is open, you can then go back to the Create File dialog box and click Close once it becomes available. Okay, so like before, let's go ahead and bring in some of our data shortcuts. So I'm going to expand surfaces, and I want to show my surface in here. So I'm going to choose Create Reference. And for my existing grade surface, let's pick a border existing orange. Click OK. Again, you can pick whatever style you want to. I'm not picking these styles for any particular reason. Double click on the wheel of my mouse for zoom extents, and then let's do the same thing for finish grade. I'm going to pick another style. We'll do border proposed purple. Click OK. Click OK again. And now you can see my finished grade surface there in the middle. Alright, let's roll that up. Let's go to alignments. I'm going to choose my baseline alignment, create a reference to it, verify that all my styles and names and everything are set. Alignment styles proposed once again. Label style is 1 inch equals 40. Click OK. Then you see the alignments show up. Let's go ahead and roll that up. Next thing we're going to do is pipe networks. I'm going to right click on proposed drain, select create a reference to it, make sure the name is set. My networks part list, make sure you have the right part list selected. Here we're doing FDOT drainage. And for my surface, I'm referencing existing grade surface, and my alignment, I'm referencing my baseline alignment. When it goes to place the pipe networks, we also want to bring in labels as well. So for our structure label style, I'm going to click on the down arrow and choose FDOT structure plan. My pipe label style, I'm going to click on the down arrow and choose FDOT pipe plan. And then finally click OK. Remember, most of those dialog boxes in Civil 3D that come up, just read them like a book. Start from top to bottom, left to right, and you should get everything that you need. Alright, so we can zoom in here. We can see that we have our surface, we have our pipes, we have our alignments. Next thing we want to bring in is our view frame group. So I'm going to expand view frame group, select my name, right click, and create a reference. For view frame group, again, like everything else, start at the top, work your way down, and just verify your settings. My view frame group style, FDOT view frame, that's the only one we have to pick. My view frame label style, choose whether you want the label to plot or not. I'm just going to choose a view frame label. Match line style, choose FDOT match line. Sometimes you may not want to show the match line in your drawing, so we've got two options. For a match line left label style, make sure you have left assigned, and then match line right label style, make sure you have right assigned. And then choose your alignment. The alignment has to be the same alignment that you started with when you created your view frames in the first place, so make sure you have the right one. And then click OK. Okay, so once your view frames come in, let's go ahead and create some XREFs. So to create XREFs, I'm going to go to my home ribbon and I'm going to set my layer first. So under the layers panel, click on the down arrow. I'm going to press X on my keyboard once more to filter down to the XREF layers. On the Home ribbon, under Palettes, I'm going to choose XREF Manager. Click on Attach Drawing, and we're going to attach our topo file. Click Open. Again, make sure that everything in this dialog box is unchecked, and click OK. Next, we're going to attach our design file. So I'm going to go to my Layers pull-down menu, choose XREF02, go to my Layers Property Manager, choose Attach Drawing. I'm going to go up a folder to my roadway folder and attach my design file. Click Open. Make sure that everything is unchecked. Click OK. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in here before we do our final step of creating our plan sheets. I just want to point out that as we placed our items in our drawings, we placed them in a certain order, and in that, the result of that order is you can see that some of our labels are covered up by some of our line work. So to clean this up is pretty simple. Select, let me go down here a little bit. Select one of the labels, right click on it, and you're going to choose Select Similar, and it's going to go through and find all the other labels that are like it. Right click once more, choose Display Order, and choose Bring to Front, and that'll clean up your labels. Also notice that one of the pipes here were not labeled correctly. Well, it has the correct label for the pipe that it is, but it doesn't have the size, and that's because this pipe is actually a unique size. So to correct that, I'm going to choose the label, right click, go to Properties, and for a pipe label style, I'm going to click on the down arrow, and we have elliptical, inner, width, and height, and that will change that label accordingly. And then we can scroll up and see that everything else looks pretty good as far as our pipe network is concerned. Alright, so I'm going to close out of that. Let me save my file again, and let's create our sheets. So I'm going to go to the Output tab, because that's what I'm doing, outputting sheets. I'm creating sheets. On the Plan Production section, I'm going to choose Create Sheets. That command would not even work if there were no view frames present in this drawing. And again, we get another wizard that comes up that walks us through 1, 2, 3, about 4 steps. In this case, it's going to be 3 steps because we don't have a profile view frame built in our file. So for the view frame group, just make sure you have the right one selected. For the view frame range, we want all of them. The layout creation, here's where we choose how many layouts are created per new drawing. Okay. This next option is how all layouts get placed in one new drawing. So in other words, this drawing gets created or duplicated and it creates all the layouts in it. Okay. Also notice that data references is also available. If I click on all layouts in this current drawing, that option gets grayed out. What that means is if I choose all layouts in one new drawing or layouts in a new drawing, at the very end it will ask me what data references, which is in this list here, do I want to carry over into the new files that get created. Okay, since we're not creating a new file, that option gets grayed out and it only uses the current data references that we have in our drawing. Okay, so that's the difference. As far as the layout name, we want the name to adhere to our FDOT standards, so it should be Plan RD01, just like this file, which is the parent file. So I'm going to click on this template here and go to the beginning of this text, and for my property field, I'm going to choose Parent Drawing Name and click Insert, and it adds it to the beginning, and then click OK, and now we have a parent drawing name and then a counter after it. Next, choose AR North Plan to have a north arrow inserted into your file, so as your view frames rotate, the north arrow rotates with it. Click Next. This is where it creates your sheet set, or adds to an existing sheet set. So here we're going to add to an existing sheet set. Click on the dice, and in our project location, most sheet sets reside in one of the subfolders and in an engineering data folder. And here we have Plan Set. Go ahead and click Open. The sheet file name is the same thing, Parent Drawing, with a counter next to it. So the last step is to create our sheets. Civil 3D asks us if we want to save our drawing. Click OK. That's always a good idea. So once it creates our drawings, you can see that a panorama comes up, just giving us some additional information, letting us know that sheets were created and added to the sheet set file. That's these sheets right here. We also see that 4 layout sheets were created in the current drawing. That's these layouts down here on the bottom. Okay, the new sheets were created in the current drawing just like we specified. Once you're done looking at the panorama, go ahead and click on Action, and you can clear all the events that are in that panorama and then close it out. To take a look at these sheets, you can do a few things. You can either select them down here from the Layout tab, or you can double click on them here in your index. If you have some cleanup items, like in this case where this label is laying on top of the pipe, what we can do is we can work in model space through one of these viewports. So to do that, double click inside the viewport area and you can see that you get a viewport border that turns red. Also, when you move your cursor outside the border, that shows you when you're in paper space, when you're in model space. Paper space, model space. Also down here on the bottom, it should say model. This lets you know this is the current environment that you're working in. So if I zoom over a little bit, pan in, I can pick that label, choose the grip, and drag it down. Press escape to deselect my grips, and it's that easy. Double click outside the viewport, or you can select model to put you back into paper space. Also notice how the labels for the pipes are rotated or orientated according to the viewport that they're in. If we go back to model space, you can see that's not the case. So what's nice about these labels is they automatically orientate to the viewport or view frame that they're assigned to. So that keeps you having to worry about rotation issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this file, and the next step we're going to do is to create our plan and profile sheets. So I'm going to close this drawing, and let's go back to our PowerPoint and take a look at what's required to create our plan and profile sheets. So here you can see the steps are very similar, but just a couple of differences. We're still going to use a clip border file. We're going to use the same one we used before. It's already set up. We're just going to add additional view frames groups to it. But this time, instead of creating a plan sheet, we're going to create a plan and profile sheet, which is called PLP-RRD, or Plan Profile Road, and then 01. We have to have a sheet template, just like plan sheets, but this time we're going to have a sheet template that contains a plan profile specific view frame assigned to it. Okay? And then for our object types, we have to have a plan and profile specific view frame in our plan drawing. Again, at least one alignment. We have to have a proposed or existing profile defined for our alignment in our plan profile drawing. And then if required, just like our plan drawings, we have to have pipe networks data referenced in, if required, surfaces, and also our XREFs to display in our plan view drawings, such as our topo file, design file, or right-of-way. And then just like our plan sheets also, we have a sheet set file or DST file that's created for our title block annotation population. Okay, so here we are back in Civil 3D. I'm going to close out of my sheet set manager. And this time we're going to create a new series of view frames, but for plan profile. Once again, on the output ribbon under create view frames, or under plan production, we're going to choose create view frames. When the wizard comes up, we're going to specify where we want our view frames to begin and end. Here we're going to do 85 plus 00 to 101 plus 00 and click next. For our sheets, we're going to choose plan and profile sheets. When you do that, make sure that you have the right template specified for plan and profile sheets. So click on the dice icon. Here we're going to choose Sheet Plan Profile Standard. If there was another sheet you wanted to pick, you'd pick on the dice icon again. Go to Sheets, go to Roadway, and then here's other plan profiles. You have Dual Plan, Sheet Plan Profile Standard. So go ahead and click it, click Open, and then choose the layout that you want to use when you're creating your sheets. Here we're going to choose a 4 horizontal and 4 vertical scale layout. Click OK. For our view frame placement, just like our plan sheets, we want them to rotate along the alignment, and we're going to set the first view frame by 10 feet. Click Next. For our view frame group, here's where we give it a name. So for our type here, We're going to type in plan profile. At a 40 scale. And we're going to take out the counter at the end and then give it a description, which is optional. And then just go through the same settings. View frame, layers set, the name counter looks good, style is already set, label style, view frame, no plot. Click next. Yes, we do want matched lines. Actually, they're checked by default for plan and profile. Snap down to the nearest feet for station value and allow distance for repositioning or overlapping. I'll type in 20 feet. And then your match lines layer styles already set up. Match line label on the left hand side, match line label on the right hand side, and then your alignment intersections already set for you. Click next. Here's where we have our profile view style. This is our grid that our profile sits on. We're going to choose 40 horizontal at 4 scale times 10, and then select create view frames. And now you see we have our 3 view frames appear in our file. Notice when we go to view frame groups now, we have 2 of them that have been defined. I'm going to once again click save my file and then right click on data shortcuts and create a data shortcut to them. You can see that we already have a data shortcut for our plan types, which is already checked and grayed out. So that just leaves me one option, my plan profile view frame group. Click OK. Over in data shortcuts on the bottom left hand side, you can see that we now have 2 view frame groups. So very similar like we did before, we're going to go to FDOT, we're going to create a new drawing, but this time we're going to create a plan and profile drawing. So everything should remain the same. Last time you used this dialog box. Discipline should be set to roadway, and file group should be roadway design file. Go down the list and we're going to choose plan and profile sheets. Our output file is PRP RRD01 plan profile road 01. It's going to put it in the output roadway folder using the FDOT master template, and then we're going to assign a Florida East coordinate system to that file, and then click create open file. Once that file is created, click close, and then we're going to start creating our data shortcuts. So again, go to surfaces, right click on existing grade surface and create a reference. Assign a style to your existing grade surface. We'll do existing border purple, click OK. Click OK again. Right click on Finish Grade, create a reference to that surface, assign a style to it. So we'll go through and pick Border Proposed Purple, click OK again, and then double click on the wheel of your mouse for Zoom Extents. I actually made both of these purple, not intentionally, but this is really easy to fix. For those of you who are not too familiar with Civil 3D, this is a good exercise. Go to your surfaces. Up on top, you can see the 2 surfaces that we made a reference to. I can choose one, right click and go to Surface Properties, and on the Information tab, I can assign a different style to it. So here, let's do green, and click OK, and you can see it update. Okay, so let's move along. Let's go to our alignments, expand my alignment category, and make a reference to the baseline 817 alignment. Make sure that everything is set accordingly, your alignment style, your alignment label set. Click OK. You see your alignment show up. I'm going to roll that up and let's take a look at our pipe networks. Right click on proposed drainage, create a reference. For our create pipe network reference, always make sure that for your network parts list you have the right one selected. We're going to do FDOT drainage. For our reference surface, we're going to choose existing grade. And for our reference alignment, we're going to choose baseline 817. For our structure labels and plan view, we're going to click on the down arrow and choose FDOT structure plan. And for our pipe label styles, we're going to choose pipe FDOT pipe plan. And then click OK. And there you can see our pipes showed up in our file. So then the last step we need to do is to create our reference to our view frames. So I'm going to look at the names. I want to choose plan profile type at a 40 scale. Right click and choose reference. Great. In our view frame group, it's going to be the same settings for plan view frames. Make sure the names look good. Our view frame style, you have the correct one chosen. Same thing for labels. For match line style, I'm going to choose FDOT match line. The FDOT match line label style, there's one on the left, and a match line right label style, one on the right. And then make sure you have the right alignment chosen. And then click OK. Alright, so once you have your view frames in, let's go ahead and create XREFs to some of our drawings. So under the Layers panel on the Home ribbon, you're going to click on the down arrow and filter down to your XREF layer. On the Home panel, once again under Palettes, we're going to choose XREF Manager. Under Drawings, we're going to choose Attach Drawing, and we're going to attach our DSG and RD01 file, which is our design file, and click Open. Make sure that everything is unchecked because you want it to come in at the right scale and the correct insertion point. You don't want it rotated. Click OK. And then once again, we're going to change layers. We're going to go to XREF Layer 02, Attach Drawing. We're going to go up a folder, go to our Survey folder, and choose Topo RD01 for our topo file. Click Open. Make sure that everything is unchecked. Click OK. And then close out of your XREF Manager box. Again, zoom in and just do a visual inspection. Look at the display order of your objects. Here we can see again that we have some items laid on top of our labels. So I'm going to choose the label, right click and say Select Similar to select all the labels in my drawing. I'm going to right click and choose Display Order and choose Bring to Front. And then while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and choose my topo file, right click, Display Order. I want to send it to the back. And then you can even go one step further by choosing the alignment, right clicking and saying Display Order and bringing that to the front. Just kind of cleans everything up a little bit. Oops, let me do that. Label there. Okay. Alright, so in order for us to have a plan and profile drawing, we have to define our profile, which we have not done yet. So since I have two surfaces in here, and I have an alignment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a plan profile based off of these two surfaces. Okay, if I expand my alignments, you can see there's no profiles yet defined. So under my Create Design panel, I'm going to go to Profile and choose Create Surface Profile. For my alignment, I'm going to choose Existing Grade and click Add, and it adds it to the profile list. And I'm going to choose Finish Grade and click Add, and it adds it to the list. Next, I'm going to go to the right and choose a style of how I want my existing grade and finished grade to look like when it's in my profile. So I'm going to choose for proposed grade style. For existing grade, I'm going to choose FDOT existing, and then for my finished grade, that one looks okay, FDOT proposed grade. I don't have to draw in a profile view yet. I'm going to do that when I create my views. So I'm just going to go ahead and say OK to that now. Again, the panorama comes up letting me know that I've successfully created profiles. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that action. And then on my Prospector tab in my tool space, under my alignments, you can now see that I can expand profiles and have two profiles in there now. Okay, let me go ahead and roll those up. So now we can create our plan and profile views. So I'm going to go to my Output ribbon, and I'm going to choose Create Sheets. Same steps as the plan sheets. We're going to make sure we have the right view frame group selected. We're going to do all view frames. We're going to do all layouts in the current drawing that we currently have open. And for the layout name, I'm going to use the parent name of this file. So I'm going to click at the beginning of my text. I'm going to go to my name template and then select parent drawing name and insert it in. Click OK. Choose a north arrow block to align to our layouts. Choose Next. We want to add this sheet to an existing sheet set or DST file so our title blocks and everything are properly and automatically named. I'm going to click on the dice. I'm going to make sure that I'm in my roadway folder under Engineering Data folder and choose Plan Set and click Open. For the sheets themselves, once they're created, this is the file naming it's going to use, parent drawing name, and another counter as well. Click Next. Under Profile Views, this is the setting where we choose how our profiles look and how we import in our pipes. So it's always important to stop on this step, and you're going to choose Setting, and you're going to look at the Profile View Wizard. So go ahead and click on that option. When you click on that, you're brought to the third step of creating multiple profile views, and this is the Profile View Height. What we want to do is adjust the Profile Datum View by the mean elevation. Okay? If you want to see what the difference between minimum and mean means, click on the help documentation. We're going to scroll down a little bit and we have minimum and mean elevation. Well, the reason why we're using the mean elevation is because profiles are drawn at the center of the profile view, which places an equal amount of space above and below the profile in the profile view. This option is useful in profiles that have relatively little variation in elevation. So since we live here in Florida, a lot of things are real flat, so I found that using the mean elevation works the best. If we use the minimum elevation, I found my profiles at times to be shifted up either way at the top or way at the bottom of my profile and not centered in the middle. So I think this so far for me has worked out the best. So we close out of that. Let's click Next. I'm sorry, click Finish. Let's click Next. Our profile display options, this is what's going to display in our profile: existing grade, finished grade. Always scroll over to the right some and just make sure you have the right style, which it should already be set, but it's always good to double check. Click Next. This is our pipe pressure network step. It looks at our options, it looks at our data over here in our data shortcuts and knows that we made a reference to a pipe network. So I do want to draw the pipe network in my file. If I wanted, by picking that checkbox, it's going to pick all of our pipes and all of our structures at one time. If you're real familiar with the project you're working on, you could uncheck this option and go through here and just pick the ones you actually do want to show. But I'm going to go ahead and just say draw all of them, and then I'm going to manually delete them once they're in my file. Alright, so we'll say Next. For our data band, Profile 1 is existing grade, Profile 2 is finished grade. That's pretty simple. Click Next. We'll click Finish. And then the last step we have to look at is our aligned views. We want the profile, plan and profile view at the start. You can look and see it's on the far left. Align profile and plan view at the center, or align them at the end. I just usually align them at the start. Alright, our final step is to create our sheets. It's going to go ahead and prompt us to save our drawing. Click OK. And then you can see that Civil 3D is waiting for us to do one more final step, and that's to pick the profile origin view. So I usually kind of go out to the right of my project so they don't interfere or overlap with any of this. So I'm just going to go over to the right some and left click, and it's going to go through the create sheet process. Alright, once it's done, I'm just going to look at the panorama up here and see what happened. It says that 3 sheets were created and added to my sheet set file here, and 3 layouts were created. That's down here on the bottom. That looks good. I'm going to go to my action, clear all events, and close this out. So when we zoom in, we can see we have our plan and profiles, and we have our pipe network going through here. Like I was saying before, if you've got structures or something that show up in your profile and you don't want them to, you can just select that structure and press delete, and it takes them out. Okay, so there might be a little bit of cleanup work you'll have to go through here to get rid of some of these items. The next step we may want to do is to label our pipes in our profile view. So to do that, I'm going to go to the Annotate ribbon, and I'm going to click on this little price tag here for adding labels. And just start from the top and walk your way down how to fill the dialog box out. First of all, what is the feature that we want to label? I'm going to click on the down arrow, and I want to label a pipe network. Well, what is the type of label that I want to use? Well, the type of label is an entire network profile. Then we have 2 items. We have pipe and structures and crossing pipe labels. Our pipe label style we want to choose is FDOT pipe profile. Our structure label style is FDOT structure profile. And then we're just going to leave crossing pipe label at standard. We're going to click Add. and then Civil 3D is asking us to select a part in the network. So I'm just going to left click here, and you can see it automatically labels my pipes. I'll scroll to the left, click add again. It's going to label all the pipes in that view, and then the same thing, click add and do the final view. Alright, then click close, and now let's take a look and see what our planar profiles look like. So I can come down here and just select one, and you can see that we have our planar profiles on the bottom with our pipe labels, and we have our plan views on the top. Everything looks good. Everything's nice and aligned with one another. If you have something like this where the labels are laying on top of an item, what you can do is you can work in model space here in a layout tab. And to do that, you have this viewport that goes around your plan drawing. If I double click inside that viewport, I'm now in model space. Okay, if I double click outside of it, I'm in paper space. And you can tell the difference too by looking at the bottom. Right now it says paper, double click, and now I'm in model. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to select that label. I'm going to pick that grip. And I'm just going to come straight down, left click again, and move that label to a better location. Okay, to get out of model space, I'm going to double click, and I'm back in paper space again. Also notice how the label is automatically rotated to the view that it's in. If we go back to model and take a look, you can see that they're just rotated horizontally or along with the pipe. Okay, so that's a nice feature to know that when these plan profile drawings are created, that the Civil 3D labels are intelligent enough to know what the orientation of my viewport is and orientate accordingly. Alright, just one more cleanup item here. What I'd like to do is here on my sheet set manager, for my plan drawings, I'm going to select the first one, hold down the shift key, select the last one. I'm going to left click and drag to place these sheets in the roadway plans subset. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for my planar profile. I'm going to select the first one, hold down shift, select the last one, left click and drag them and place them down here at the bottom of my plan sheets. Then I can come down here on the bottom and right click and delete these empty subsets. So I'm just going to right click on it and choose remove subset and remove that subset. And then if you want to come back and clean these up as far as the naming and labels, simply select one, right click and choose rename and renumber. So this is sheet number 1, and this is plan, let's call this plan 1. Click next, and we'll call this one sheet 2. We'll call this plan 2. I'm not going to go through all these, I'm just going to do a few of them so you kind of get the idea. But when you click next, you can see that their renumbering and renaming appears well. Also, whatever name they are in this field, it's going to update my title block as well. So you can just keep clicking next. Next, maybe when I get down to my planner profiles, I would put plan profile here in the sheet title as well. So we'll go ahead and click cancel and save my drawing. And let's go back to our PowerPoint. And that pretty much so concludes my session for plan and profile sheets. If you have any questions, please send me an email. You can send it to mike.racca@dot.state.fl.us. Also, there's a link there provided to you to download the FDOT Civil 3D State Kit. It's free to download. The versions we are currently on is 2016, 2017. This is an add-on, so you must have Civil 3D currently installed before you can install one of the state kits, and the state kit year needs to correspond to the version of Civil 3D. So in other words, if you have Civil 3D 2017, you need to download our FDOT 2017 state kit. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed it and have a great day.